We're here in beautiful Boulder, Colorado, part of Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 College Championships USA Ultimate. I'm Brian Jones here with Maya Ziv and Tyler Kinley, and we have an exciting matchup. 2 1 seeds coming from the pool, California versus Oregon, and today has been everything but predictable, things going in every single direction in the women's division.
That's right. Today we are seeing an Oregon squad that everyone is used to Oregon winning. They've won national championships. They came in as the 1 seed. And surprise, surprise, today they lost to Texas Melee in probably the most shocking upset in an upset-filled women's division. Texas looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the interesting things from them, they were a very fast team. They were getting blocks. It wasn't just Oregon's slow start, which they did have. Lou noted early on before the game that they had a very slow start to the game mentally. They just weren't composed. They were playing as if it was going to be handed to them, and Texas took advantage. Texas also used the break side very well. They would work the disc with small, short shots, leading into a large break side gainer for 15 yards all the way to the opposite side of the field, and this seemed Oregon had a lot of trouble defending it. The game ended on a Darby Donaldson, a 5'2" girl, skying huge for the win. That upset set up this game. Cal also upset a few times. We see 2 1 seeds coming into this pre-quarters. One of the top 4 seeds of the tournament is going to be out before the quarters this game.
Things get going. Kaler with a disc for Oregon, starting out on offense. Oregon in the white, Cal in the black and purple shorts. Neej over to Darsh. Darsh now back for the dump. Around to Neej. Darsh, field Oregon, being patient here. Nidge going to the ground to make the catch. Nidge, big bid by Cal, getting the D.
That was Claire Desmond on the D there for Cal. We can expect a lot of big players for her. For Cal in this game today. She is outstanding on both sides of the disc. She's a big receiver for them. Expect her to come down with a lot of throws through traffic and over girls.
An overthrow though for Cal, giving it right back. Darsh picking it up for Oregon. Nidge going up the line. And we have a call on the play.
Looking downfield right now, you have the disc in Nidge's hands on the sideline. 4 girls parallel or behind her to the middle of the field, and just 2 downfield. A lot of room to work with.
Nidge upfield, up the line, toes the line, receiver. Ode looking back. Upfield. Oregon scores to open things up in this pre-quarters matchup. 1-0 on California.
I think this is the game that we can expect to see from Oregon here. Lots of patience until they get that opportunity. Those up the line cuts are going to be crucial for them. Darch is an excellent offensive handler for Oregon. She also gets amazing Ds, so we'll expect to see her working on both sides of the disc here. She's also their puller, so she's going to get a lot of action in this game. For Cal, their key to the game is really going to be keeping their mental game up. That's what's been hurting them, especially in those upsets in pool play. They just have a few too many inconsistencies. Unfortunately for them, Oregon is very good at capitalizing on turnovers from other teams. They've been doing it all weekend. They lost that 1 game to Texas when they just weren't clicking. If they can bring it here today, Oregon is going to have an excellent game against this Cal team.
Oregon holding on offense after a couple of turnovers to start this game off. Claire Desmond with a huge layout D. Unfortunately, the opportunity was wasted. You see the offensive line for Cal come out. Cal Pie Queens versus Oregon Fugue. Oregon Fugue coached by Lou Burris. Pull from Darch. Prater, center of the field. Man defense here from Oregon, not their usual junk zone. And upfield. Haggerty. IO break. Put out the space.
Oh, that's a shot.
Wide open. California ties this game at ones.
I'm impressed with Cal's offense there. It looked good.
Very clean. And you know what? That's what a player like Claire Desmond is going to do for your team. She's going to be patient. She's going to get open as soon as she can and then put those shots to space. She's an excellent thrower. That was Sarah Tanaka on the reception there for that point. That is the Cal offense. I think Oregon coming out with a few turnovers in that first point might indicate that they're not quite ready on offense the way that Cal showed us that they were there. If they can pick it up, I think Oregon will clean up this game and we'll have a really great matchup here.
So far, all knotted at one. Offenses both holding here. Former regional rivals after the restructuring split up the Southwest and the Northwest. California and Oregon used to duking it out.
They were plagued by two main sources of errors in their upset loss to Texas. Oregon, more than a couple times, didn't run through their underneath cuts. We saw it there. They slowed up and they get layout D'd by a strong defensive effort from their opponent. Secondarily, they multiple times didn't connect on what seemed to be easy underneath shots. The throw would be somehow off the mark. Either it would pop up over the receiver's head, go too wide, or be thrown too far to the inside where the defender had an easy knockdown. I'm curious to see how they start this game out.
Senator Darch.
I think Oregon is one of those teams that you'll see will either have a very strong game or just a game where they can't connect and they'll be plagued by inconsistencies. On the other hand, Cal is a team that will seem to be absolutely fantastic and then have a random inconsistency that leads to a break for their opponent that they can't recover. So it'll be interesting to see which style wins out here.
Oregon working it up, just past midfield. California trying to poach off the initial possession. Odie looking up for the score. 2-1, Oregon leads.
Cal came down in a handler defensive set that really sagged off of the non-thrower, really putting defenders into the lane, and it was broken up by a nice hammer from Oregon. Before this game, Oregon had a team drill that everyone was throwing hammers to the break side. The entire team they probably connected on 85% of their throws. That was a shocker for me because you simply don't see them that often in the women's game, and their entire team was connecting well. They weren't incredibly long hammers, but they were accurate and well placed.
Sophie Darch is one of those players that will fearlessly put that throw every time. You can see it in her face. She gets so excited when her defenders leave someone wide open on the break side like that. Talking to Cal before the game, they recognize Oregon's fantastic throwers. Their game plan was really to stop those hucks. Unfortunately for them, it didn't really quite work out there. Oregon has a multitude of players that can put deep throws and make cuts on offense. And so we'll see if Cal makes any adjustments here to stop some other kinds of throws that we might see this game.
California trying to answer. Both offenses holding early on. We'll see both teams are well experienced. We'll see a plethora of defenses used. Just as centered. Lynn looking for an option. And here's the poachy defense, junk defense we see that Oregon is known for. Huber is simply describing that oftentimes the deep is only set and then letting his players play.
Watching Texas attack this, oftentimes you'll see it in the near part of the field. Number 20 is sitting on the sideline. That's where Texas found a lot of success breaking through this zone. There's that shot.
Just out in front, toes the line. Brogan. And Mugen with the disc, looking back. Lynn. This poaching really slowing down the offense. Finding an option, Haggerty. IO break, finding Desmond. Desmond so far has made a difference in this game, an assist and a D. Van Mugen. Finds an option downfield. Back to Van Mugen. We have a call on the play and a collision on the field. Lynn knocked to the ground.
Lynn's nickname is Thud. Finding some use here.
Play gets started, Van Mugen. Looking back for Lynn, overthrown.
That is an uncharacteristic turnover from Van Mugen. That's actually her second turnover of this game. She really needs to turn it on here and focus up for Cal.
Putting it deep. This one, will it sit? And it goes out of bounds. Oregon missing an early opportunity for a break.
Bailey Zahnizer looks and looks and looks for the threatening shot. She will wait until stall 8 to hit what she wants to throw rather than resetting the disc.
It's a good thing that she is such an incredible thrower, but however, sometimes it'll lead to situations like that where the disc or the throw won't work out for her, and that's a costly turnover in a game like this.
Rogan upfield going deep.
Oh, wow.
Wide open behind the defense is Lynn. Desmond. Lynn not going for the give and go. Desmond staying patient. Lynn. Lily Lynn with the disc. Looking for the round to Desmond, and Desmond has a goal, an assist, and a D to her name early on in this game, and it's 2-2, Oregon versus Cal.
You know, I was gonna say I was disappointed with that end zone offense. They had a 2-on-1, they could have attacked, but clearly their end zone is strong. Putting Claire Desmond on that block, isolating her in the front of the end zone to get open, proves effective, and it looked easy. It didn't look like they had to force anything. I like the patience there.
Cal's been running plays like that all season. I think you're putting Claire Desmond in an ISO position. That's going to be a score 95% of the time. She's an amazing cutter, one of the best athletes we've seen in the women's game this whole season. She's just a really important player for Cal. She's turning it on here. That's going to be a great momentum shifter for Cal. So we've seen Oregon have some trouble with their junk zone in situations where there's little to no wind. It's not quite so windy here. It is picking up a little bit gusty, but I wonder if Oregon's going to come out next time on D with a little bit of variation. Doesn't look like that zone's working out for them against Cal.
In asking Lou Burris, Fugue's coach before the game, what he thought about the game, unprompted, he brought up the lack of wind. So clearly that's a factor that they take account of going into any games and probably hoping for with that jump.
Oregon's offense back on the field. Center to Darch. Moving upfield. Cal showing a zone of their own. OD overthrows behind the receiver.
These are the throws that plagued them in that Texas game, throwing slightly behind a receiver, cutting from one side to the other slightly. They can't have that.
Prater looking for the around, fouled on the play. Looks like this one's pretty clearly coming back. Physical defense there by Oregon. Gamble. Looking back, now finding Lynn. Lily Lynn. Going for the inside break. Cal's got some momentum working it up the field now, going all the way to the sideline. Effective use of the space. Putting it deep. This one will be overthrown.
That's a tough throw to hit. The receiver was already quite deep. The end zone line's quickly approaching. Proved too difficult to hit.
It's interesting, just like you were talking about the errors that were plaguing Oregon during the Texas game. Those kinds of errors are exactly what we saw from Cal in the Iowa State game this morning.
Gets it right back. California now working on the doorstep for the first break of the game. Prater picking it up, vertical stack for Cal. Quick foot back to Lynn, and a break throw just outside of the reach of the receiver.
That's heartbreaking. That receiver was wide open. That was a great opportunity for Cal.
And it was a great end zone set. Just immediately dump it to the break side, easy backhand, or what should have been an easy backhand.
Oregon, though, now with a chance and not much movement, looking for any options. Finally getting off the line. Still looking for receivers. This offense right now is not moving well. Odie looking up the line.
Odie backed by 15 yards there.
Now another shot up the line, but Lynn is there for the D. We have discussion in the field. Injury called. We have a timeout by California. We'll see if they can capitalize on this break opportunity and go for the full field. This is Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 College Championships. And we're back here in Boulder, Colorado. California and Oregon locked in a tight one, tied at 2s right now. California looking to break with an opportunity on defense. After the timeout, we have offense set up in a horizontal stack. Play begins Lynn, furiously pivoting. Opportunity for the D there for Oregon, trying to get this back.
They actually ran the same set play that they did on the very first D point where they got the disc.
Putting it deep, over the top, almost reeling it in. California has so far been unsuccessful, but Oregon gives it right back.
During the break, all commentators agreed that both teams looked like they lacked some level of fundamentals, and it's been a long 2 days for both teams. Coming in as the 1 seed, then losing games, going to the pre-quarters. There's a certain level of mental and physical fatigue that both teams are showing right now.
Here's a deep shot, though. Can Oregon convert? Goes up, and Lynn absolutely on fire on defense, getting her second D of this point.
With every turnover in this point, I think the importance of this mentally, of whoever scores this, increases.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I think both of these teams really just need to calm down just a little bit. That was a good idea. She had her receiver streaking deep, but it just was too floaty to complete that play. Kimber Coles is an excellent receiver, but when you let it hang, Cal is going to make those Ds.
This is just too far of a throw.
And we're seeing a lack of composure from both teams, as we've been saying. Right now, usually teams settle out after the first few points. Oregon looking to make a play, overthrown, and giving it right back.
This is the strangest beginning of an ultimate game.
One of the things I love about Oregon is how quickly they feel confident to pick it up after a D. They don't let any time pass. That's been hurting them here. They really need to calm down and run their offense. They've had a few turnovers over just throwaways right after Ds.
Darch on the sideline, putting this one deep. Can they convert? D almost caught.
I believe that was Christina Schuler, who was the intended receiver there. She didn't even try to box out her defender. Are these teams just too tired to run their offenses correctly here? Both of them aren't really working it the way they normally do.
Right now, if it goes the same way, there's going to be 2 cutters downfield that clear, and 1 goes to the sideline to go get the disc.
So putting it deep. Mugen is trying to stretch his field. She reels this one in, a successful hawk, but still 10 yards short of the end zone. Looking back for another option. Prater. Mugen along the end line. Back to Prater.
This is the time for a timeout.
Putting it out to space, and California gets the first break of the game to go up 3-2.
Wow. Until this single possession, I have been incredibly unimpressed with Cal's defensive offense. It's been huck and hope. It's been unsophisticated, but finally they connect on a huck. They work it around a bit, and they make it happen.
Yeah, and look at Oregon walking away right now. They've got their hands on their knees, hands on their head. They are down. Bailey's running to the line. She knows that she's got to pump up her team. We need some action from Oregon here to stay mentally in this game.
Coach Lou Burris showing hard to read, but his body posture and body language does not suggest a high degree of confidence.
Lots of turnovers in that point. We'll see if Cal can gain any momentum. Wind has started to pick up here in Boulder. Would play a role if Oregon could go on a run with their junk zone. Right now, though, the offense needs to hold and get back on the board.
Oregon is going slightly downwind now. They'll hopefully try to open up their deep game a little bit, have their throwers put those shots up to space, let their receivers just run onto them.
Gets things started off. This very large zone from Cal.
It's a strange zone, a lot of holes, big gaps through that zone.
Trying to disrupt any rhythm. Right now, though, they're giving Oregon so much space to work with, and even a hammer over the top despite the wideness of the zone. Oregon comes up, gets the easy goal, and ties this game at 3.
That's the Oregon offense that they know that they can run. They've been running it all season. Take risky throws like those hammers, open up the field, trust your receivers. That's a great point for Oregon here.
There are times to run zone. What zone does for a team is it slows down the other team's pace. It forces them to take usually a number of throws or open it up with a risky throw. However, in this situation, it's clear that Oregon's normal offense running against man defense was not working well. And giving them that zone point to feel comfortable with the disc, to score relatively easily, to feel confident, I'm not sure it was the right call strategically to run the zone at that moment.
Yeah, I'd agree. Talking to the Cal coaches before the game, they were saying they were looking forward for it to be a little windy so they could try out some zones. That was just not an effective way to stop Oregon's offense. The cup was set way too wide. Oregon was able to work it with just little dish throws through the cup, and all it took was one throw to break over that cup and really open up the field for them.
Oregon ready to come down on defense. Right now, Cal's sideline is up. High energy. Prater.
Oregon's defensive intensity clearly stepped it up right now.
Looking through the zone.
Yeah, they're coming out with that junk zone again. That's definitely their safe spot. They're very excited to be here playing that game.
Barlow throws it to the poach D. Great interception by Oregon. Also standing around afterwards, Wilson coming out of nowhere. Nidge Wilson upfield. Oregon now working up the field on the sideline. Sennheiser fitting into a tight space. Not in. Flip makes the grab. Oregon gets their break back and goes up 4-3.
Sennheiser completely turning it on for her team there. That was an amazing poach D. Oregon came out fired up. They got a break there. That was absolutely fantastic. I believe that was a layout grab from freshman Jessie Schaffner. She's also a great receiver for Oregon. Those are the kinds of plays that Oregon is going to need to stay in this game mentally, just getting the sidelines pumped up.
I'll say it right now, the difference maker for Oregon for this entire game, for them to win this game, is whether or not Bailey Zanizer can play composed. If she just starts hucking and hoping, right, always looking for the most dangerous throw, I think she will throw herself out of this game. We've seen it in other years in the loss to Michigan. That's what we started to see. If she can get the disc and be composed and patient with the disc while still offering that fantastic defensive pressure, she will keep Oregon ahead.
Things are back on serve here. And here in Boulder, the pre-quarters round, Oregon versus Cal. Both former regional rivals meet yet again. Lynn. Starting things off, throwing through the zone. Big gainer. Looking up, Lynn going through, now finding Desmond, great find.
Looking at your field on the camera, number 17 has been left open, the girl who just received the disc.
And
she has been left open this entire time.
And Mugin going back now. Lynn looking for the round, throws right into an Oregon defender. Alex Almy starting things off.
Sophie Darch showing off her impressive backhand skills there. We've seen those from her frequently this season. She has excellent deep throws. This is the position she wants to be in right
And
here.
Sending it deep. Oregon just can't reel it in.
Good defensive pressure from the Pie Queen there.
Both cutter and defender lying on the ground. Darch, receiver. Schaffner. Almy actually on the intended receiver on the play.
Anna Almy is fantastic in the air.
Definitely, I'm sort of surprised she didn't come down with that one. She's been an important receiver for Oregon. She knows what's at stake here. I'd expect that she would have brought that one down.
Injury called on the play. Get started in just a moment.
Now we'll get another look at the Cal defensive offense. Excuse me, the offensive offense. This is not a deep point for Cal.
Cal needing to hold here to tie the game up. Menendez starts things off with a swing, and still we see the Poche defense, but Menendez finds a hole and rips one deep. Desmond is there, tries to toe the line, can't make the catch. Bring it back in to Sophie Darch.
Here's the question, is that where the disc comes in, and now there is a call on the play.
Some sort of confusion.
Sophie Darch, one of the best players in the nation right now, and only a sophomore.
Yeah, no question that she's one of the best players. She is a sophomore.
Darch. Throws it upfield. Great catch by Schaffner.
Wow, great throw.
Hurd. Coming back for Darch. For an option.
Good defensive pressure here from Cal Berkeley on the handler set.
Bishop finding an opening to Schaffner. Schaffner putting one up. Desmond can't get a hand on it. And Oregon misses out on another opportunity for a goal.
Another drop for Almy there. That's just surprising.
Again, I think fatigue is playing a large role in both these mental and physical mis-executions.
To be fair, Claire Desmond is an incredibly intimidating player. Having her flying through the air at me, I'd be surprised if I could catch a disc over Claire Desmond as well, and these players are at the top of the game.
The heat also a factor here. The sun's been blazing all day. It's quite warm.
Rogan, Lynn, still poaching for Oregon. Finding Lynn. Putting it deep once again. Emugen is there. Goes up, but can't rip it down. Oregon with the D. Almy once again there. Right in there as always, as you said.
A good D there, but it looked quite catchable.
Darch finding an opening. Will this one sit in time? Lynn almost coming in for her third D of the game. Almy putting it deep, and there are defenders in the area. Desmond, and she's all over that one.
Neither team seems to want to do the work it takes to work it down the field. Both wanting to just huck and hope.
Desmond.
Yeah, that was just a poor decision from Bishop there. Throwing the disc deep into space, letting it float with Claire Desmond running under it. She's going to pick that up.
This one going up now. Almy is there for the SWAT D with authority. And we have a timeout on the field by Oregon, trying to settle things down.
As a coach, as a player, I'm sure teams have players right now saying and thinking, this is why we ran those tracks. This is why we did everything. Let's hear what they have to say.
I mean, for the most part, we're doing it, right?
That is some pretty defense.
Yeah, and also the other thing though is that we did drop 2 goals. So we just gonna live with that.
Safety, Anna. Good job, Anna.
Hey, really quick though, ladies, let's run. I'd like kind of run a side stack here.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to isolate. I want to do go. Okay, hey, you two get out here.
Anna, keep it up.
You're my northern light.
Sounds like we'll see a side stack.
Trying to switch things up on offense, get some flow started.
Lou Burris literally directing his team there.
We're seeing more of a vertical stack. Looks like time may have actually run out on Oregon setting up.
Interesting to note what he said, but also what he didn't say. There was no big pump-up speech. There was no overuse of cliche analogies or anything. He just said, here's what we're going to do. Let's do it. I think that's a vote of confidence as much as anything else from a coach.
Cal showing off another wide zone, giving so much space. Oregon scored very easily the last time Cal showed this defense.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. They're kind of just letting Oregon walk it right up the field again. And again.
Looking for an opening. Bishop to Darch. Still a wide zone, and now the zone is getting a little more active in response to crashes, but still. Bishop wide open in the end zone. And Oregon comes out with a break, up 5-3.
A baffling zone.
Indeed.
There. The wall behind the mark, 12 yards, 15 yards, that affords any handler on Oregon far too much ability and room to just sit in front of that wall and get a 5-7 yard gainer without any pressure.
Right, and the fact that Darch could just sit there patiently waiting for the exact throw that she wanted to show up, I don't think that defense is going to work out for Cal here. They've got to change something.
Well, after Cal took an early lead with a break, Oregon has responded back, and now with a 2-point lead, seems that the first team to settle down in this game and run their offense will win.
The difficulty there is settling down amidst mental and physical fatigue. Perhaps the team most prepared, most physically conditioned has the advantage here. It's difficult to stay composed when you're holding your knees, when you're gasping for air. This is the reason, again, you run those tracks.
Nidge with the pole for Oregon.
That's a fantastic pull. Make Cal work it all the way down the field. There isn't much wind right now.
Saying again, the jug defense. Campbell. Lots of movement here, switching the matchups. Putting it up on a prayer. 3 receivers in the area, and Cal comes down with it. Puts it out to space for the easy goal. Brogan coming up with it. California gets back on the board.
I love that junk zone. What you saw there was a couple of throws that led to a nice through the cup gainer that was then shut down. The Fugue players swarmed backfield. Everyone shifted back well, stopped any continuation, and yet again they put the zone on. They only gave Cal about 15 yards of gain after Cal had broken through that zone. That's a very effective zone. Then they pinned it on the sideline. It's difficult to figure out another team's zone when that zone is not based on a pure structure.
Right, like we said earlier, Lou Burris just puts them on the field and lets them figure it out. Having run defense like that all season, this team has excellent communication. Those were some amazing switches they had there to shut down the dumps. Those are the kinds of throws they want to force. Unfortunately for Oregon, Cal did come down with that throw, but that wasn't a fantastic throw, not a high percentage one.
No, but what you did see was they threw to 3 girls, and they all wolf-packed underneath the throw to give it high. It added the percentage.
Definitely.
Simply by having more girls. Before on the Hucks, where they've tested Oregon's downfield defenders, it's been one-on-one. There was a lot of people to clean up the jump.
This has been a long opening to the first half already, just barely past the halfway point. We've already seen almost 40 minutes of action. Fatigue will certainly, has already played a role and will continue. It's the war of attrition out here today. Ball goes out of bounds. And Nidge will pick it up with a brick mark. You can see already an interesting formation by Oregon, a side stack with 1 in isolation, very deep. Nidge to Darch. Finding Nidge.
I'm surprised there that Cal let Darch come under so easily. She seems one you'd want to front and push downfield.
Schaffner putting it up to space. Desmond comes down with it, 3rd D of the game. California moving it upfield. Looks like straight man defense for Oregon.
Another good moment for a timeout, I'd say.
Desmond taking over in the middle of the field. Fisher. Tanaka. Running Desmond, scoops it off the ground, and we have a call on the field. Observer to rule, had a great view of it. Waiting. Looks like not sure what the ruling is. Observer ruling it down. It was a close one.
That was pretty lucky for Oregon, I'll say. They are letting Claire Desmond get open under way too much. I think they need to play much tighter D on Claire Desmond.
Darch. Odie laying it out to space. Schaffner, but tipped in the air. Grabbed by Prater.
A beautiful, almost snow-like effect with pollen in the air right now. I'm not sure if it's visible on the screen here, but it's a sight to behold. It also indicates you can tell the wind direction
Right now, California going downwind. Desmond. We haven't seen the hucks from Cal so far after the first point of the game. Putting it deep. Here we, as soon as I say no, California goes for it, can't convert.
Receiver clearly tired.
Oregon gets it back. Along the sideline. Odie. Nothing available. Now looking back. Out of reach, knocked down by California.
A good awareness D there from Cal. That was Marnie Brown.
We have a timeout call by California. Try to regroup here.
Smart timeout call. It's clear that Cal is tired. This is a good opportunity for them going downwind. The wind is picking up. We might be able to get a sneak peek into the huddle of Oregon or Cal here. See what they have to say going into this downwind point.
That was one turn.
Right D. Right. Jimmy, windy guys.
So wind, we got it. Switch right. The wind's going this way now. Right? Let's not be afraid to put it this way. I like your shot. You guys are still handling. Let's go with YOLO.
Yellow. Can I show you one?
Good, so we found out now they're going yellow, so still as baffled as ever up here in the booth, but with a timeout call and this the wind has increased by 15 miles an hour. With this timeout call, this would not be a terrible time for them to look for an end zone shot and then be able to set a zone. Hopefully not that same zone they were looking, but with this kind of wind, it could work.
Oregon coming out in a zone here, especially with the wind. Interesting to see who this favors more. Typically, Oregon is used to this type of scenario.
Definitely. However, Cal is going downwind. That'll definitely open up their deep game. They've got a receiver wide open in the end zone there.
Just too far, but here we go, forcing Oregon to go this full 70.
I think it's the right look. I'm surprised that the offender there started to come under at all. You simply got to hang out. The wind makes it easy for that disc to carry. Still a smart call.
This one upfield, floating in the air. Dart's able to get underneath it, bring out the space. Oregon, though, seemingly having no problem until there. Bobbled catch by the receiver. Wind playing a role.
Yeah, all of those discs were popping up there. They're going upwind. The wind's going to push the disc up, making those receptions that much harder. Didn't work out for them there.
Darch easily gets into this in good field position right now. Give and go possible for Oregon. Darch, you take advantage. As receivers open, California leaving lots of space. Midge putting one up. This one in the air, swirling. Not a great decision there to take a shot.
Yeah, she's going to have to put a lot more spin on that disc if she's going to try to put up a throw like that in this wind.
Question here, discussion.
The game has taken a drastic shift. The wind has increased dramatically. It is a completely different game from a coach's or a strategist's perspective right now. It's upwind, downwind. Cal here looking to go downwind. They're down one.
Oregon already in favor here, being up. Game turns into this downwind, upwind. Upwind breaks are precious.
For those who watched last year's Open Final, there can be notably strong winds here in Boulder. This isn't even the worst of it.
Coles going to capitalize. Oregon with good field position, knocking on the doorstep, and flip to Coles, and that's a huge break with the wind. Oregon up 6-4.
That was a really crucial point for Oregon here. This wind is picking up significantly. That's going to pay off for them.
Lou Burris, the most animated I've ever seen, giving a fist pump, walking out.
He
knowing
knows he knows the implications of that upwind point, and it seems that Cal didn't really comprehend that the game had shifted so dramatically. They needed to have a turnover, if they had one at all the way down the field.
I expect Oregon to come out almost 90% minimum with their junk zone now, forcing Cal to work it upwind. That junk zone is going to be crucial. They are going to shut down all those deep looks. All the unders are going to be that much harder to hit.
Certainly.
This is Oregon's game. They are in a great position right now.
Certainly. Cal coaching staff talking. At this point, fundamentals become key, and you need to have the disc reset into your best thrower's hands consistently and early in the stall count. You can't get into a situation where you're throwing a backwards dump in this wind. It's not an easy completion. You need to get the disc in your best thrower's hands to dramatically increase the potential for your throws to even go upwind.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised we're not seeing Desmond on this point. If I were Cal, every game matters from here on out. She should be playing the majority of the points from here on out. Nice grab by Van Mugen there.
Here is that zone.
And back to Van Mugen.
It's a front wall of 3 with 3 behind playing whatever they see. And there, Aubrey Bishop coming up with the D.
Cal
Bishop.
definitely struggling with that zone.
Big opportunity here for Oregon. Midge playing Darch. Not much movement here at all from Oregon. Getting it over the top of the Nidge. And an overthrow of Bishop. Still in good position though. California has to go nearly 70 to get this in the end zone. And Mugen over to Lynn. And a drop there.
That was a fantastic D from Schuler for Oregon there.
Darch throws the space, wide open, and Oregon building a big lead, especially with this win now up 7-4.
I was gonna say, if I'm on Oregon and you have Sophie Darch in a power position going downwind, I am sprinting towards that end zone. She has the touch to make the disc go wherever she wants, even in wind like this. Finally, they did it, and it paid off for them there. Good point for Oregon offense.
This is also a great opportunity for Oregon to put in a less than top tier line. You do not need to score this point. It's expected to be an upwind, downwind game, and you can rest a number of your players who up to this point have seen a lot of playing time. Sophie Darch, Bailey Zanizer, Nidge. You can give them a break to their legs going into half, and the second piece of that is if they do get a break, it's that much more exciting for your Oregon Fugue women's team.
One point away from half. A break here would be monumental. Almost nearly possibly putting the game away with the type of wind we're seeing here. We're already... Short pull from Oregon.
With this win, that's still a fairly good pull.
And more junk here from Oregon, and why not? Trying to get a short D, but California does the right thing and takes a shot even though it's not caught. Last possession, they got stuck near their own goal line with a turnover. Do not want to give Oregon another short field.
Here we see a vertical stack.
Oregon pops one up. This one hanging. Oregon comes down with it and fouled from behind. Big collision. Great catch. Almy with the big sky. This one popping up. Zenheiser goes up and gets it. Oregon is just working efficiently through this wind, taking the shot. Will this one sit? It will. Tipped in the air, and Oregon cannot come down with it. Still showing zone for Oregon. Lots of poaching. Almost got it. Desmond, though, picks it up. And Mugen, Cal coach yelling to put it. Desmond cannot make the catch. Cal coach does not want to waste any time. You do not want to turn over to your own goal line. One good shot. Sennheiser. Upfield, this one pops over the top. Hanging, no one able to come down with it.
At this point, if you're on the Cal team, you need to just go deep.
Right, especially since Oregon looks like they're having some trouble working it upwind here. If you at least go for a deep shot, you're going to make them work it all the way back up if it's a turn, and if not, you're right near your own end zone.
There he starts. Prater finds an opening.
These are the
Looking
ones
back.
you have to keep throwing downfield. You can't dump this.
Throws in the middle of the field regardless. This one's coming back though.
That was great deep dump defense from Oregon's Ashley Young. She effectively shut down that dump, made that risky throw go off.
Play restarts.
They've got to look downfield.
Rogan putting it deep. Easy D for Oregon. Sennheiser. Sennheiser getting it back, going up the field. Major force. Marked up with Desmond. Exciting matchup. Overthrown. Almy goes up, toes the line, stays in bounds.
Anna Almy showing off her skills in the air now.
Quick move by Oregon. They've got some space. Chance to break for half. Sennheiser. Looking for an opening. Puts it out. Or tipped in the air, and Oregon can't come down with it. A golden opportunity to take this game to half.
Sennheiser want to put the disc in the end zone.
If I were Desmond, I'd huck it right there.
Wide open underneath available, and here's the opportunity. Cal needs to take it. Van Mugen can't get to it. Underthrown.
With no mark on, I am very surprised that that's the throw that Cal's going to put up. That was a golden opportunity for Cal. It's a bad mistake to make.
Oregon now navigating once again. For Sennheiser. Overthrown, but a foul on the mark. Yes.
Watching that disc go, you can really see how strong the wind is here. She puts it out just a little bit. The wind's going to carry those kinds of discs over.
Lou Burris is animated coming into this huddle, and he is excited for this team. And why not? You've had all the opportunities upwind, while Cal has not exhibited the ability to score downwind.
Sennheiser clearly marshaling this upwind offense very effectively. Once she got near the end zone, took a tough shot, but not terrible. With the disc in her hands, she is dangerous, and she does need to take shots.
Pivotal opportunity here for Oregon if they can capitalize on this point. Again, an 8-4 halftime lead. We have 30 minutes left in this game until soft cap.
And we are at 7-4. That doesn't bode well for Cal going into a halftime after this point, potentially.
We're almost an hour into game time.
Yeah, I think if I'm Cal's coach at this point, what I'm saying is, let's take a breather, let's regroup, let's get this D right here, and then take a breath before each throw. Make sure it's the high percentage throw we want to be making at this point.
That said, going downwind, I think he is saying, receivers go, handlers throw.
Definitely.
Bishop Matched up with Desmond. Sennheiser a little bit downfield as the dump. Easy back. With Bishop.
Oregon's fundamentals really showing off here.
When it comes down to mental fatigue, fundamentals can really win you the game, especially in the wind.
Even more so with a gusty wind. It's not like there is a consistent downwind, upwind here. Random gusts are picking up these discs. Oregon is able to focus in and make the catches, adjust their throws for whatever wind they feel at the precise moment the disc leaves their hands.
Tipped by the receiver. California getting it back. Going to waste no time. Menendez was looking for a deep option. Not looking for any option, but a foul called on the play.
All of these calls simply eating away at the time.
Menendez. Now putting this one deep. Just taking a shot, no one is there.
I'm surprised Desmond even came under, honestly. Send Desmond deep, let her do what she does best. Anna Almi's a great matchup on D, but Claire Desmond is an incredible athlete. She has a great chance to bring those deep shots down.
Looking for an option going up the line and is fouled. This has been a physical game so far. The marks have been very tight.
I'm surprised to see such physical marks here because you're giving up 3 throws upfield.
Another physical mark and another foul.
Maybe it comes slightly from being too tired to make that shuffle over. I think these girls are in a good position to make those throws harder. When marks are closer, sometimes it can be easier to just step and throw around a person. But that requires a lot more active footwork here.
Wind still gusting here, picking up even more. Making Oregon's earlier conversions even more important. Looking upfield, just behind. Cal finally locking down on defense.
That was some good hard D we haven't seen much of from Cal.
Call on the play. The observer fell down.
Observer crawling off the field. It looks like the observer might have actually gotten injured here. Potentially a pulled muscle, maybe a hamstring. Odd. Everyone's suffering in this heat.
That being said, these observers do play 3 or 4, or they observe, I guess, 3 or 4 rounds every day of nationals, whereas the players themselves are only playing 2 or 3.
At last year's club nationals, in a game that I was watching, there was about a 15-minute break as they frantically searched for a replacement observer. Oftentimes you need, or USA Ultimate really wants to have a set number of observers, and when they lose one to a hamstring injury for any reason, they need to replace them, and it's not always easy because you've doled out all your observers across the field.
Right, and we'll actually see head observer Greg Connolly coming on to replace the injured observer.
Quite
for
the
this
replacement, all-star replacement coming out of coming out of retirement after 1 game today.
Yes.
Brogan. Tipped in the air by Menendez, comes down with it regardless. Menendez. Desmond is open underneath. Desmond, nothing available. Oregon's defense has been stifling even on the downwind. Menendez. Mugen fits it into Desmond on the break. Cal finally getting on the board, 7-5.
A good goal there. I don't see Desmond being active enough.
Even though Cal scores there, you got to figure it might be a mental win for Oregon.
Long, long point. Keep them on the field for a while. Eat away that time. We still have a whole halftime to go through, and right now we're at 26.5 minutes left until the soft cap. What that means for Cal, especially for their subbing strategy, is there's no time to waste. There's no legs to save. They need to play their top lines, and they need to play them consistently. They have to throw everything into this game.
Definitely. This is the last game of their day, and if you don't throw everything into it now, well, you don't have any more games that will take you to the championship.
And they're after a championship, coming in as the, I believe, 4 seed into this tournament.
First out of the Southwest.
And both teams coming in as #1 seeds in their pool, not making it to the quarters by round by winning. If there's some upsets.
You know, this would continue on the Southwest head-shaking mystery that is the women's results from that region. The regional results saw University of California, Santa Barbara, who a perennial national powerhouse, going out, not making nationals. A shocker for anyone following women's ultimate. And here we see Cal besting everyone in the region, now fighting for even to be in the top bracket of nationals.
Cal getting set to pull, big point here.
The wind is gusting here.
You can tell Pole makes it just past half field.
Now we'll see what Lou Burris does on offense, and it looks like he has sent everybody deep.
Hail Mary time.
This is not dumb ultimate. I like this choice. Winning is not always pretty, but sometimes the best choice is ugly.
See here, smartly he's kept 2 people back on deep, while 5 people are now around the disc, ready to start out any type of zone defense that Lou Burris has planned.
Looks like Claire Desmond got a bit shaken up there. She has been taking some hard hits this season. She actually suffered from a twisted ankle at Stanford Invite, and she came back later in the season. She's been playing fine since, but it looks like that might have hurt her there.
And the zone is instantly set.
Furious mark. Schuler doing her best to try to get a hand block.
I'm guessing here there was a contact call. She was bumping and grinding on the mark there, and as soon as you call contact, you have to reset the count.
Play about to restart. Lynn looking for Campbell, a big D by Oregon. No call on the play. Yes, there is. Not sure if where the contact was. Maybe on the mark. No foul ruled by recently inserted observer Greg Connolly.
Jessie Schaffner for Oregon on the D there. Absolutely phenomenal player for Oregon this season.
Oregon a foot away from taking half in this pre-quarters game.
And Oregon scores to take half, 8-5.
That was sophomore Sophie Darch to freshman Jessie Schaffner. If that doesn't bode well for Oregon this season at Nationals, it definitely is promising for their years to come.
We'll see the conclusion to this windy marathon when we come back, and for the second half, Oregon versus Cal. This is Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 College Championships. And we're back here in Boulder, Colorado. We have Oregon facing off against Cal just at a halftime. Cal trying to strike deep to Desmond. Falls short. Oregon leading 8-5. The wind has picked up significantly here. Winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Gusts of even higher. And so far this has favored Oregon.
Yeah, it looks like Cal is definitely taking the strategy of huck it deep and see what you can do on D. It's not going to work out if they keep making drops like that.
Talking to Corey Lee, the coach of Cal's Pie Queens.
What a throw. Oregon picks it up just outside the goal line.
Goodness.
Call on the play. Calling it down.
Interesting.
Didn't even look close.
curious to see this replay. She did clap catch it quite low.
It looks like it might have hit the ground after she caught it.
The question is when she precisely, oh, interesting. The clap catch was awkward.
Interesting.
Oh, that's not guaranteed up.
Timeout called by Oregon.
A smart timeout call. The Cal coach, Corey Lee, before this said all he wanted going in was one upwind break. And I said, it takes 2 to win the game, Corey. And he said, you know what? We're focusing on 1 because that gets us mentally in the game. Another one will come, but it's that one that they need. For now, both teams going into a huddle. We'll take you into a commercial break. This is Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 U.S. College Ultimate Championship.
And Oregon cannot convert on the upwind break. California going down. Sorry for that interruption. We have a big thanks to our sponsors. Today's game encoded by Elemental Technologies, providing video processing solutions to deliver streaming content to any screen, anytime, anywhere, all at once. 8-6, Oregon leads over Cal. Oregon having a golden opportunity there to put distance. And now California staying alive.
Definitely. It was that deep shot finally working out for them. I think halftime was a great time for Cal to regroup. They were huddled close together in a circle, trying to form back that unit, that well-oiled machine that they know that they've got. If they just focus up, they did it there.
We saw numerous short throws turned over from Cal, and that's exactly what Corey Lee, the coach, wanted to eliminate this half. The risk has to equal the reward for any throw. In this situation, with that high wind, the risk of any throw greatly increases, so the reward has to increase. And that, for him, meant either it's got to be an end zone shot, so it's going to score a goal, or it has to be the leading throw, maybe to someone wide open, that would set up that next goal shot. Conversely, speaking to Lou Burris about his adjustments, he was speaking to Anna Almy, specifically their largest, most imposing deep defender, basically to always be playing deep defense. No matter whether they're on offense or defense, always pretend as if Cal has the disc and is going, so that she never gets caught going deep for offense and then is far out of position to play defense for Cal going back the other way.
We can see Almy right now playing almost a super dump position as you described, a strategy that Cut used actually in last year's final. Actually, they used it when they were going upwind, though.
What it's saying is they're going to throw to the end zone. Dropping one person out is not going to make a huge difference. They're willing to go 6-on-7, especially when they throw it deep. And this just mitigates any risk for that upwinder, which is the difference maker.
Right now, Oregon, though, taking the easy throw. A beautiful throw by Darch over the top. Schaffner, and zings it in there for the goal, 9-6.
If it's that easy, this game is going to be a tough one for Cal to come back into.
9-6, Oregon leads.
Oregon was even outnumbered on defense there. I am so surprised that Cal couldn't shut down the Oregon players. I mean, you take one of your offensive players completely out of the play to make a smart defensive strategic move, and Oregon still scores with ease. This is a fantastic team. They're confident. They are using that confidence to boost through every single point here.
Right now, Cal not being able to find the legs to play defense. This is a trap that some college teams fall into, saying it's windy, there's going to be a turnover. So let's just not worry about it and focus so much on the offense. Let's focus on the upwind. You still have to play hard defense.
Especially against a team like Oregon that has great throwers. They play as if there's very little wind. There's actually a pretty strong wind going on right now, at least stronger than these teams have seen all weekend. It's definitely throwing off Cal's game. Oregon looks right at home. This is their element. They're playing their game.
In a win like this, I think it really favors coaches like Lou Burris, who they have two things going for them. One, their team will blindly follow them and is used to doing strange, unorthodox things. And they just put their head down and do what they're told. Secondarily, not only do they trust him, but he's willing and capable of creating those unorthodox changes. We saw there Anna Almy playing a super dump. We saw all 5 players going deep to catch a throw. The game is not necessarily pretty, but but trying to win in a really pretty game is almost prideful. You need to just do what it takes to win.
Right.
Putting one up is Oregon. This one falling to the ground. Wind right now is just too much for almost anybody to throw into. Or to Campbell. Puts it over the top. D'd by Oregon. Bishop playing back. I'll try to force one, finds Zanheiser. Puts this one another beautiful put. Gaining some ground. Oregon makes the catch. And this one's dropped. Oregon still consistently finding ways to get upfield.
Yeah, Schuler looked a little blinded trying to find the disc. Looks like she lost it in the sun on that last throw and then was unable to bring it down.
One of the big differences I see between Oregon's shots, whether upwind or downwind, and Cal's is that Oregon's are all catchable. They might get D'd, they might get tipped, but they're all able to be caught by an offensive player. A lot of Cal's shots are just throwing to a space, and if your offensive player has no ability to even catch it, it will never work. There's 0% chance.
Lou Burr is following the Hail Mary technique, getting everybody in a spot, hoping to float it rather than put it out to space. Big grab by Zanheiser. And another more physical marking by California.
That's a great mark there. You should really shut down Zanheiser's deep throws. She's one of Oregon's best throwers. Make her throw short, flat ones. Oregon's been having trouble with those. You don't want her in a position where she can huck it just like that.
Zanheiser throwing it, though, into a defender. Campbell.
Now we'll see if Cal's deep shot, which you have to imagine is coming, is catchable.
We have a call on the play all the way back a few throws ago.
Oh, looks like that might have been caught out of bounds. It'll be a turnover.
This one put up. Can't come down with it. D'd by Cal.
A crucial D. That, a 10-6, another upwinder from Oregon, might have been the nail in the coffin, the knife in the body,
back.
the knife in the back.
A2 Brute.
Yeah, it would have hurt. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Lynn, wasting no time. Throw to no one. Still forcing Oregon to go upwind.
You can see how strong the wind is here. That throw was almost from one end zone to another.
Great way to get open from Zanheiser there. You got to prevent the underneath, and she still gets open under.
And another turnover.
We're watching the time just go away. It's 3 minutes, 40 seconds until soft cap.
Another D by Bishop. We have a foul call, though, back at the throw.
Tick, tick, tick. You can hear the game slipping away from Cal right now.
Yeah, each one of these calls taking almost 30 seconds. Can't afford that kind of time loss at this point.
Maya, you're from the Southwest. Is this the type of wind that's prevalent, or do we normally see non-gusty wind?
Definitely not. Most Southwest teams are actually really uncomfortable playing in a high wind situation. That being said, Cal is from Northern California, Berkeley. So they do have more opportunities to play in wind than the Southern California teams. For example, at the moment we are seeing UCLA losing to North Carolina, a team from the Atlantic coast, totally comfortable in wind. Wind is going to hurt the game for any Southwest team, and it's definitely showing that here.
North Carolina regional rival is UNCW, who loves to play in wind and loves to play zone, so North Carolina used to battling in those conditions.
Now 2.5 minutes until soft cap.
California now looking for Van Mugen.
Another
Back
bobble from Cal.
This one low, Van Mugen picks it up.
They have no time to waste here. They need to hit the end zone.
They And now Oregon quickly running to the line after the turnover. Sennheiser, this one popping up, not available.
Sennheiser's throws are just not on right now. If I were her, I'd get a lot more comfortable dumping it. You have Sophie Darch on the field. Let her put those hucks like she just put up.
This one going to be trailing out of bounds. We could give you the stat line for this game from League Vine, but we will not. We'll just count the number of turnovers, but nonetheless, League Vine has done a great job this weekend giving statistics to us here at Next Gen. Sure, check it out at leaguevine.com. You can put your own team stats in there. Let's go around. Let's look at the other scores around the pre-quarters. Right now, we see Washington leading 9-5 over British Columbia. North Carolina up 13-6 over UCLA. Iowa State and Ohio State locked in a tight one. 9-8, Ohio State leads.
Ooh, any game that has a separation of more than 3 points right now, you can basically categorize as over. UW is basically won.
On the men's side, we have Luther up 11-8 on Colorado. Tufts up 13-9 on Texas. Central Florida up 14-7 over regional rival Georgia Tech. Cal, though, puts this one in for the score, and 45 seconds till soft cap. This will likely be a game to 11 or 12.
9-7. This is the point for the season, is it not?
At this point, you can't afford to go down with how much time remains.
This is it.
California has not shown the ability to put it in either downwind or upwind very consistently.
At this point, you've got to put in your absolute universe point line. You need this upwinder. The winner of this game will see Iowa. They have looked very strong. They beat the 1 seed in their pool, the overall number 3 seed in the tournament, the University of Washington, in a close double game point win. Iowa looked strong.
And there's the horn for soft cap. Assuming Oregon can hold this downwinder, it will be a game to 12. However, Cal must score here. And here an upwind break would give them the opportunity, would change the game.
Usually in an upwind downwind game, if you get an upwind break, you usually get a downwind break. That would tie the game at 9s.
Possible 2-point swing would put the momentum in their favor. And we see Cal sideline getting up for this.
Defensively, you'd expect Cal here to mirror what Lou Burris did with his best deep defender and just hang somebody out, maybe even 2 of your best deep defenders in that end zone. Make it as hard as possible for Oregon to score. Oregon now flooding the end zone with 4 receivers.
Putting it deep and wide open. Oregon comes up with it. This will be a game to 12.
That was an excellent point for Oregon, immediately taking advantage of the short pull. Sophie Darch putting one deep. Oregon is ecstatic right now.
Lou walking onto the field, body language maybe 100% different from what we saw earlier with his head down.
Definitely.
After the game, be sure to visit the NGN Facebook page to vote for the Elemental Player of the Game. One voter will receive an Elemental prize pack with 2 discs, a t-shirt, and an aluminum water bottle. 10-7, game to 12, Oregon leads, and when you score downwind that quickly after California took almost 10 to 15 minutes to score their downwind point, if you're Cal, I don't see how mentally you could be there.
Just to reiterate, putting Anna Almy at the super dump position, knowing that Claire Desmond has been matching up with her this whole game, that pulls Desmond immediately back towards the handlers. Desmond is probably one of the only Cal players that could have even made a D on that play, and she was completely out of commission.
Cal back in the play. Offense needs to score quickly here, putting it deep. There is an opening. This one come down. Yes, Cal scores back quickly to stay alive. 10-8. Oregon leads.
Both players taking advantage of that downwind offense. Might be too little, too late for Cal. We've got a game to 12 here.
Couple of quick scores after a long marathon points. Oregon back here on offense. California, 15 minutes till hard cap. Looked like what we thought this would be for the game, but California's still staying alive. Needs to find a way, though, to get an upwind break.
If Cal loses here, and if UCLA does indeed lose to UNC, we will see all the Southwest teams knocked out of the championship bracket. That is absolutely stunning. A region with 5 bids to nationals, all teams getting knocked out of the championship.
Now see Desmond back, realizing that Almi is nothing but a decoy, and Darsh puts up a laser. Desmond comes underneath. Almost coming up with it was Coles.
Kimber Coles kicking herself for missing that disc. That would have been a perfect opportunity for Oregon to get right in Cal's head, really intimidate them. Cal now with another opportunity. Oregon looks like they're coming out with that junk zone. We'll see if it's effective against Cal's offense here.
Incredible if Cal is able to work this. Putting up a prayer. This one is coming right towards Desmond, though. Makes the catch. They've gained the yards. A little bit of hope. And another prayer. This one, though, going right to the Oregon defender, tipping in the air. If that's going to be California's strategy, they need to get more people downfield.
Definitely.
That's exactly right.
There's nothing wrong with going up and trying to huck it on a prayer, which is what Oregon's been doing, but now they don't have the numbers, and Desmond's back. Either way here, you still have plenty of time. I think some of these Cal players have the breaking ability to work it up the wind with short 10-yard throws.
But they're still not actually doing it, whether or not they have the ability. If I'm Oregon, I'm telling myself, put that disc deep, send as many players deep as we can. Cal is not working this one up efficiently.
Big D by Almi, and call on the play. Oregon crowd on favor, rescinded. Large renege and a drop. California needs to act quickly here to take advantage. Finding options and give and go. This could be the opportunity. Van Mugent slows it down, though. Now putting it up, Desmond is there. Tipped in the air. Desmond needs to be on the right sideline, though, with the way the disc is flying.
Playing pinball downfield here.
Coles can't get to it.
You know, and that was some nice short offense that we saw from Cal. Sure, we've been talking about how those upwind throws are hard.
Another huck.
Putting up. Desmond still on the left side of the field, needs to get over, but
Desmond,
the
a great catch here.
Code. California looking for an option. Prater.
Desmond is way too deep right now. None of these hucks are going that far.
The difference maker here has been Bailey Zanheiser's flick. Here's another backhand.
And Almi comes in.
Seven Nation Almi taking another disc down.
Almi to Darsh. Darsh putting this one. Lynn has her back turned.
Oh, that's a
And
fantastic catch.
By Coles, looking for the up call. There is a call on the play. Lynn a little bit frustrated, but still there with this wind. You got to know the disc is coming and keeping an eye on it all time. Back turn that deep.
That was a fantastic sneaky play from Kimber Coles. She read that perfectly, so she didn't have to accelerate, which would give Lynn the impression that she was going for a disc. The disc went right over Lynn's shoulder into Kimber Coles' hands.
Lynn's got to know it's coming. She complained about not getting an up call. Well, the up call shouldn't be necessary in this kind of wind.
Darsh jacking it once again. Lynn coming in underneath.
Hard mark, making it tough to get that backhand off. Probably a foul call.
This one's coming back.
can see that the disc's movement here. The wind is ridiculous.
Looks like there was a foul call for Darch, actually.
A foul call before the foul call that was before the foul call.
Either way, it looks like Sophie Darch will get the disc back for Oregon. It's a good opportunity to send another one deep.
Big fake, Darch. Lynn again with a D, almost identical.
Lynn, a D monster in the backfield.
That was the same play 3 times. Lynn picking up 2 of those Ds.
Need to swing it here or just put it deep.
I'm not sure that kind of offense is going to work for Cal.
Really need to swing it to an open person like Huck.
Seven Nation Almy still playing that deep D.
They need to move it quickly here. It doesn't matter who picks it up. Lynn needs to swing, get an opportunity. Putting this one in Almy, correctly reading it, coming in underneath.
I would really like to see Cal here realize that that is not working for them. You can't just gain yards up the field like that against a team like Oregon, hoping they'll make a mistake going downwind.
Yeah.
Well, you
Flat
never
catch.
know. They might have just made that mistake.
Yet even then, Cal only gains 30 yards. Maybe they still have to make a few of those risky throws to play like that.
Ruled up, the old elbow catch.
Lynn putting this one, finding it. Emugen, Desmond need to take advantage of this opportunity. Emugen up the line.
This is good power position. Handler movement.
Menendez making the
Great
grab.
catch.
Wide open in the end zone. Can it get there? No.
See, Cal was working the disc fantastically there. Those were all throws under 15 yards. And then they try to take the Huck opportunity, and it's a turnover.
I gotta say, I'm not rooting for either team. I'm rooting for upwinders here.
Darch putting it deep.
Huge throw.
I guess that means you're rooting for Cal right now then if you're rooting for an upwinder.
Right now, it seems that way. Next point, if Oregon puts this in, I'll root for Oregon going upwind. Whoever's going upwind is the underdog. Maybe that's it.
Oregon is leaving a ton of space for open upwind throws to be made that are 10 to 15 yards long. Cal needs to be patient. Just like there, Emugen gets it started.
This is what you're talking about here, Maya. This is working better.
Most definitely.
Menendez can't get to it.
Until I suppose it doesn't. Oregon right on the end zone line.
Coles gets it back, and we have an 11-8 lead. Almost all but over.
With the game to 12, I really don't see Cal coming back here. Sure, they're going to have a downwind opportunity, but they have about 9 minutes until hard cap. That point took way too long. They cannot have points like that in this game.
I'm very curious to see who Lou calls in on this point. Lou or Shannon McDowell, his assistant coach. This is a good opportunity to put in young players, test their ability to go upwind, put them in a big, high-pressure game, give them that experience without risking much.
Would you really at this? How much experience can you gain in 1 point going upwind, though? If you're going to prepare, you're preparing for this season. Why not close the game out?
Well, because closing the game out is incredibly difficult going upwind, and you're almost guaranteed to close the game out going downwind.
And if this weather is to keep up for the rest of the weekend, then this is great throwing practice for Oregon. High intensity, high pressure game throw time to throw difficult throws. And so these younger players are going to get that experience. It doesn't look like he did that, however. Sennheiser is going to come on the field, as will Bishop.
Time is not on Cal's side. They must score quickly, and they get an upwind with 7:40 until hard cap.
Let's see the offense that the Pie Queens choose to run here. 4 players immediately flooding downfield. Throw
Campbell
going up.
putting up a beautiful high pass. Desmond is there, but too short.
It's like they tried to take a page out of Oregon's book there, but even with 4 receivers in the end zone, they were unable to make that grab.
The difficulty with overloading that downfield with 4 receivers is they were all behind the play. Oregon ran it up quickly.
Aubrey Bishop realizing that she can't actually catch her own throw.
Too far for Desmond.
You know, fans, it's probably just commenting how ugly this game is. The problem is wind does not mean you have to play pretty. Sometimes to win, you have to play ugly.
Carleton learning that lesson the hard way last year.
It's just the way that it is.
Carleton actually went to North Central Regionals with lots of wind. Lost both of their games because they refused to not run a standard offense. And then coming here in Nationals and watching Grant Lindsley just chuck it deep without a care was very interesting to watch.
You have to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to do what you haven't done, what you might not want to do. That's sports.
Campbell, Menendez. Flick Huck, this one has some height on it. No, deed by Oregon. 6 minutes to go.
Claire Desmond running for that disc. Didn't see Bishop coming for the D. Bishop with that turn.
Nugent going for the around. Too far once again.
Uncatchable. The player of the game this game, wind. Clearly having the biggest impact.
Timeout by Oregon. Smart call there. You have 1 timeout left. Hard cap is coming. And the wind continues to pick up.
Yeah, it's getting stronger. Hopefully this blows through and doesn't continue until tomorrow, because it doesn't paint an accurate picture of who's necessarily better at ultimate. That's a whole nother argument to be had there, but it simply isn't as enjoyable to watch.
I think the difference in these two teams at this point in the game is really the way they are strategizing with the wind. Oregon is changing up their offense, especially having Anna Almy stay as a dump much further behind to be ready to play defense. And Cal just seems to be trying their same old game. I'm not sure why they haven't stuck with the short throws. You know, because their deep shots weren't really working upwind. Downwind, it looks like they're just trying to put it up and have some receivers under it. But perhaps they're too tired to bring it down.
I'm not sure. One of the big differences I've seen so far is Bailey Zanizer's forehand. She is the only person so far I've seen successfully throw a 15-plus yard throw into this remarkably strong wind. We have not seen one forehand huck from Cal.
That's a way to gain field position.
That's ridiculous.
Cal gonna get the disc right on the end zone. We'll see if they can actually put this one in for a score.
Short throw is becoming almost as difficult here.
Good news for tomorrow morning. We will see the winds calm down to a balmy 10 miles an hour. Menendez putting one in and layout grab by Cal.
Oregon definitely making that catch difficult, though. They threw sort of a modified zone there, making those short throws practically impossible, putting 2 people just right in front of the thrower.
We once again are entering a cap situation. California must score with less than 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. 3:16, 3:15. If they do not score in time, Oregon will win this game.
They're on the clock. Before the game, I spoke to Lou Burris. One of the things he noted in parting ways was that the University of Oregon few will not give up in a game. Were the tables to be turned, were Oregon to be down 11-9, he made it clear they would not give up. I said, you know, of course not. No team wants to give up. And he said, you know what? A lot of teams give up. He said that when choosing between giving your all and having your heart broken versus mentally throwing it in, and not necessarily cognizantly doing so, but not necessarily putting everything into it, putting your heart on the line, he said they'd be willing to. The question now is, can Cal do that? Will Cal do that?
Time ticking away. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Need a miracle for California to pull out this one. The wind picking up even more furiously. And this disc is coming back, needs to be knocked down.
Again, field position gained.
In Oregon, all they need to do is hold it for the 10 seconds. If I was Darsh, I would hold it until stall 8 and then completely put it deep. Darsh putting in Desmond, tipped in the air.
Oh, close.
And they must move now. 1 minute and 45 to go.
The awkwardness has no bounds.
Burris, very animated, trying to get his defenders. Desmond needs to find an open receiver.
Materials are blowing across the field.
Desmond
Everything
putting
is
this
coming
one up.
undone.
Does it have a chance? No. 1 minute and 23 seconds to go.
Desmond will stay deep to play D here.
1 minute and 15, and Darsh.
The boomstick.
Off. Over the top, caught by Coles. Popped up in the air. Desmond, 1 minute to go.
That was a fantastic catch by Coles, but it almost looked as if Cal was showing signs that they were giving up. Not many extra defenders ran to help out with that. It was a floaty throw. Coles was able to come down with it.
49 seconds, and Oregon might put this in for the win. They have to be rushing. California does not realize the situation. They must run to the disc.
Both teams hucking and hoping. The problem is Oregon needs only one huck to be completed,
30
whereas
seconds
Cal
to
probably
go.
needs, what, 5 to make it all the way down the field. They only seem to have the backhand huck, and they haven't shown any backhand huck in this win to go more than 15 to 20 yards.
They have less than 20 seconds to score this point.
They're not realizing it, otherwise they would have been running up. Oregon, Darsh, just hold on to it. If they just hold on to it here and don't move, they will win the game. 2-1, and Oregon will advance to the quarterfinals. But they will put it in regardless to get the win the old-fashioned way. 12-9, Oregon wins.
Oregon will see Iowa tomorrow in the quarterfinals.
Be sure to tune into our coverage tomorrow when it's significantly less windy of the men's quarterfinal. We have yet to know our matchup, but it will start at 8:30 local time. I'm Brian Jones for Maya Ziv and Tyler Kinney. Thanks for tuning in for our coverage of the 2012 college championships in Boulder, Colorado.